This is Broadcast Obituaries, Gone Too Soon. We exhume a short-lived TV series, episode by episode, give it a proper eulogy, and answer the burning question, was it canceled too soon or not soon enough? Analysis, nostalgia, and our final verdict on TV's fallen heroes. Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Aaron, and this is Broadcast Obituaries. This season, we're watching the 1994 show Earth 2. So we are 4 episodes in now, and I've got a couple questions before we jump in for you, Mr. Rob.
Go for it.
Do your kids call you Mr. Rob or Mr. Brooks or Dad?
You
Or
know,
Father?
Father is what I push on them. It's not taking though, no. So no, they typically it's Mr. Rob. Mr. Rob. Yeah.
Mr. Rob? Okay, I like it. All right, so couple questions. One, we are right now beginning our 4th recording, our 4th podcast for this. How do you think it's going?
Yeah, I mean, this is like the Joe Rogan Experience Part 2. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to be getting a $250 million Spotify contract out of this. Yeah, I think it's going pretty great.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure that it's our opinions that matter.
I think it's only our opinions that matter.
Okay, good.
Rob.
Great.
Yeah, so.
Then success.
Yeah.
We won.
Yeah, even if we don't see the money, we're rich on the inside.
That's right.
Because we know what we're doing here.
That's right. What do you think? How do you think it's going?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot. I'm having so much fun just watching Earth 2 and getting to nerd out and talk about it and complain and celebrate and do all the things.
Me too.
It's just
but I do gotta say, like, I watched this episode 4 times in preparation for us talking about it. And the 3rd and 4th times are not as much fun as the first time or 2 that I'm watching these each one. But you know, the things that we do to make quality podcasting material here.
While I am committed to the show, I definitely am not watching these 4 times. I think the first couple episodes I did. Then after that, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to take some notes and then I'm going to wing it. So that's where I'm at.
Nice. A wing and a prayer.
Wing and a prayer.
Now it begins.
Yeah. So we had some discussion while we were watching this episode. I think one night when you flipped it on, you texted me and asked, you know, hey, how are we watching these? Should we be doing this in air date order or should we be doing it in production order?
Right. Which was a question I did not ask till I had already watched this episode and taken all my notes.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that this is where the discrepancies begin, is with this episode here.
Yep. Yeah, and you mentioned some things that I hadn't noticed, and we can get on that. But so what's your thought on that? Because a lot of shows do this, right? A lot of shows from the 90s aired in one order, and then they go to DVD, or you check out the wiki and they have a production order. So what would be your preference for this?
You know, it's a tough call. Honestly, I can see value in doing it either way. I like the idea of watching it in production order, like the way it was intended to be viewed. Because then, like, for our experience here, we're discussing, you know, was this show, like, is it the fault of the show itself that this was canceled, or was it due to other factors? Like episodes airing out of order or skipping episodes completely. This series actually has 2 episodes that did not get aired until after the series finale because they weren't going to air them at all. And then they just took them at the end just to get them out there and have a couple hours of TV programming. So, you know, due to that and, you know, all kinds of factors. So my feeling is if we watch them in the production order, the way they were intended to be watched, then we can determine, did the creators of the show, were they making a quality product and it was the fault of something else that this was canceled? But I think you land on and I honestly, I see value both ways. I think you're more of let's watch it in the order of how they aired, right?
Yeah, I lean more towards the original experience from the people who watched it in the 90s. But I don't know, hearing you now tossing it in my head, I'm like, well, maybe we do watch it in production order. But then are we really getting to the crux of it? If we would have watched this in the 90s and we saw it in the air date order, the way that it actually aired, would we still want more? No. So it's like
value
a really
ways.
Tough question.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
It's one that might take some more discussion between us. This episode, though, is fine to go either way today. There is a slight discrepancy in the air date. So this episode, episode 4 is called Promises, Promises. And technically, there is an episode called Natural Born Grendlers, which airs. This is one of the two that airs after the series finale. So this was the 20th episode that aired. However, it originally took place before this episode. But when they aired these originally, this episode we're watching is the last one with Gaal in it. And it kind of completes that whole little arc. We had the pilot episode, the pilot 2-hour TV movie type of deal. Then we
Right.
have a 3-episode arc with Gaal. So they intended, I think originally the intent was to put this one with the other 2 Gaal episodes and not split it up
Right.
with an unrelated episode in the middle. And for the most part, these mostly ran in order. Like I said, there's 2. So there's that one, Natural Born Grendlers, that was pulled out and they stuck it at the end. And then there is another one that was supposed to be right before the series finale, and that ended up being the very last one that they showed after the finale and after Natural Born Grendlers. Otherwise, I think there's only one spot where they flipped 2 episodes in place. Like just they were meant to
So
air.
not a ton.
Not a ton. Not a ton.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
however, those 2 airing out, the 2 that were flipped, and I think that was due to, it was some sport event. It might have been the Super Bowl. I'm not sure at this point. But those 2 actually caused people to be fairly upset because in some of these episodes, they tell you at the beginning, when someone is narrating, they say, day 104. Well, in that one, in these 2 episodes, they say that, and they are literally, in the first one that airs, they say day 109. In the next one, they say day 104. And that was one of the reasons that a lot of people started bailing on it, was because they aired a couple important ones. And, in a serialized show, you can't do that. And this isn't like 100% serialized show, but there are multiple storylines through here. You gotta watch them in order.
Yeah. I need to pay more attention to those opening narrations. So
yeah, they get important, I think. So there is one clue in this one, apparently. Alonzo has like a big cut on his forehead in this episode, and we did not see it in the previous episode. Life Lessons was the last one. He had no marks on him. In this one, he does have a cut on his head. That cut actually happens in Natural Born Grendlers. Episode 4, it's called Promises, Promises. The description says, with narration by Alonzo, Yuli's health severely deteriorates as the Terrians suffer under Gaal's use of shock collars on them. After a scouting trip, Danziger leads a party to confront Gaal again and help to heal Yuli. All right, so I actually have like 12 pages of notes here, so let's take a couple hours and talk about this 40-minute episode. So episode starts off, there's a brief conversation where Morgan seems to be trying to bond with Danziger a little bit.
that was so weird.
Wasn't it? It's just
Danziger didn't want anything to do with them.
Nope, he found a way to shut that down pretty quick.
Yeah, he did.
So it starts to rain.
Rain! Rain! Everybody take cover in the trash!
And I didn't think about it, but I guess this is the first time that that's happened since they've been on this planet. And everybody freaks out. And they start running for cover, and everybody like gets under until Julia uses her hand scanner thing, and she tells everyone it's okay, it's just water, there's nothing toxic. And I realized, maybe 2 things. One of 2 things. They either just had no idea what the rain on this planet would be like, or the only rain that they knew of way back on Earth 1, their original Earth, maybe by this point it's like acid rain.
Yeah.
And it's very toxic.
And I talked to my wife a little bit about this, about in the 90s, all the talk about the fear of acid rain. That one day you're going to walk outside, a rainstorm's going to hit, your skin's just going to melt off, and you're done.
It was big, like in the 80s and 90s. Acid rain was the big fear. That was the environmentalist fear of the decade.
Yeah.
Acid rain, that in the ozone hole.
Everybody was going to melt. It's terrifying.
It's just water. And so they all go out and they run around in the rain. They enjoy it. They're having a good time. I don't think anyone took a bar of soap out there with them, but they probably should have, because by this point in their journey, like, they don't have enough water to be showering. These people got to stink. But it's fine.
Think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's my first thought, honestly. All these people running around, these filthy, dirty people, right? Why is someone not standing out there with shampoo and a bar of soap? So Yuli wants to go out there and run around too. But Devin tells him to stay inside and stay safe, stay dry. He's had a fever, and she doesn't want him getting any sicker. And then she grabs Yale, and she's like, hey, let's go set up camp out in the rain. And she's smiling and so happy to be headed out there. And it's kind of a jerk move, Mom. I mean, Yuli's just
It
sitting
is.
there like a lonely little kid all by himself under the tarp while everyone
Yes.
else, including his family, is having a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. That bothered me.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, just take him out there. It's a little water. It's gonna be
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
So
So Alonzo is narrating this one, and he reminds us that the Terrians had healed Yuli once, but had they healed him for good? I guess he's wondering this since Yuli is getting a little sick again. And Yuli is asleep that night when True comes by, and she wants to apologize for losing his horse. So I guess that really wraps up that major plot line and question mark that we had from the last episode. That horse is gone. He's
it's
just
gone.
gone. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a shame. That's my lasting question from that last episode was what happened to the horse.
Yeah. What happened to the horse? You
Yeah.
couldn't sleep, could you?
I could
So you
not.
knew. Yeah. It was interesting because we talked in the last episode about how True was really just such a pain in the butt. And
Yeah.
she wasn't learning lessons.
Right.
This was the same scene, right, where Danziger, her dad, scolds her because she had run off. It was nighttime. She ran off to talk to Yuli, and he shows up and he is like livid that she ran off. So it was nice to see that he's trying
Right.
to get her back on track now at this
Yeah.
point. We'll see how well that works.
Yes, we will. We will indeed.
Yep.
Alonzo is also asleep at this time, and he has another dream about his Terrians, and he sees them all wearing some kind of techie collar. We know that those are the shock collars that Gaal and his fellow prisoners were wearing when they came to the planet before Gaal killed all the other ones. And in this dream, he also sees Yuli, who is in his immunosuit again, which he packed away a few episodes ago. Then the next scene, when everyone's awake, we see that Yuli really is back in the suit for his health because he's just getting sicker and sicker.
Yep. Yeah.
Alonzo tells Devon and Danziger that the Terrians are in trouble and they want the humans' help and that they're in some of the nearby mountains. He reminds Devon of her promise to do anything that they asked for giving back Yuli, and Morgan just blows off the promise. He doesn't want to go out of their way to these mountains. He makes a crack about being a lawyer in case the Terrians decide to sue. He pats Alonzo on the arm with a friendly slap. He really seems like he's trying to make an effort in this episode to like fit in and be like part of the guys, one of the guys.
He is, and it just doesn't fit his character, and it's awkward on purpose, right? That's what he's supposed to be
definitely
creating it. And it's like you said at the beginning, he's trying to get buddy with Danziger, and Danziger doesn't want anything to do with it. And they're talking about all the trouble they just left behind, and Danziger just says, "Yeah, but imagine what could be waiting ahead of us." And he immediately goes into coward mode again.
Yes, looking around as if someone's creeping up on him right there.
Right, suddenly so paranoid.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's hilarious. I actually really like his character. I mean, I don't like him in this movie. I despise him, but I enjoy it. I like to hate him.
Right. Yeah. He's playing into it for us.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
great.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good foil to all the good guys here.
Yeah. Yep.
So after Alonzo tells them this, some of the group doesn't really want to help. They think that if the Terrians can make Yuli sick like this, then they could make anyone sick. But Devon wants to help because they're going to be sharing the planet with the Terrians long term. She wants to be on good terms with them, like, good neighbors. And while they're talking, Yuli falls down. He's sick. And Danziger just makes the decision. All right, everybody back up. We're going to help these Terrians so they can help Yuli out of this situation. Alonzo leads him to the place where the Terrians live. He recognizes it from the dreams, a fact that Morgan finds completely ridiculous because it's all just a bunch of rocks. I do kind of agree with him. It all looks the same.
Yeah. What, these rocks? This is it? Yeah. These rocks right here?
Yeah. Are you sure? Devon gives a big thank you to everyone for coming to help Yuli, and they set up their camp. And Yuli says that the sickness is a lot worse now because before he didn't know what it was like to not be sick, and now he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And then we cue into the long montage of Yuli sleeping with Devon sitting vigil beside him in several different sequences.
Yeah, this part kind of got to me. Just having kids, I kind of got what she was going through, just when they get sick. And I mean, granted, I don't have anybody in my house that's dying or terminal, but the idea of those kids just not feeling well, you kind of feel for them.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean,
the scene played well to parents, I'm sure.
The worst thing is when your kid is sick and there's nothing you can do to help them.
It really is.
So True sneaks out into the wilderness and she blows the whistle that Gaal gave her, and he immediately appears. It's kind of weird how he pops out of nowhere.
Was he stalking them still, do you think?
I don't think he was. I don't think he was. That's the weird part. They talk.
Teleport.
Yeah, he heard the whistle and bamf. He bamfed his way over there.
His bamf.
Nightcrawler. They talk and True asks Gaal about how he made it rain because he keeps telling her that he has magic. But this confuses him a lot. He didn't even know about the rain, I don't think. But she says she knows it was his magic that did it, so that they, the Utopians, as he calls the group, would have to stop moving. So he plays along. He's not going to pass up on a chance of taking credit for magic like that when she just hands it to him. But then she tells him that they need his help even more now, more of his magic, because the Terrians are making Yuli sick. And she spills all the beans about how the Terrians called them there to help them. And she has this whole plan about Gaal using his magic to stop the Terrians and heal Yuli, so the rest of the group will see that Gaal really isn't such a bad guy after all, and then they'll accept him back in and she can have her second daddy too.
That's still weird. And the grooming continues.
It really does. I was going to try not to use that word or discuss that at
sorry.
all in this episode. Nope, it's out there now. He's a groomer.
I know. That's just what I felt.
You just can't avoid it.
He approaches her
guy.
like a weird, creepy father figure in that whole scene.
So he sends her back home, and he turns around to talk to a Terrian that he has held prisoner about 4 feet away during this entire conversation. And he tells the Terrian that he must have missed like the last member of his tribe who is still dreaming and contacting people through his dreams. And then he uses a remote button that he has to torture the prisoner, hitting him with some electrical current through that shock collar that he's got on. And he tells the Terrian how excited he is to have another chance at the Utopians' lovely vehicles. He is so obsessed with having a car. I mean, he's like a teenage boy, like a 16-year-old boy he's got to have his own car.
Can't let it go.
I don't even know where he wants to go. Like he doesn't want to drive to the mall or the movie theater.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a long distance girlfriend that he has to go get to and see what she's doing.
Yeah.
He just wants a car. Where's he going to go? There's nothing on this planet.
No, he probably just wants to go cruise for some Terrians or some Grindles or Grindlers or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is weird that that's his obsession, because he's got his little home base.
Yeah.
Where he killed the O'Neill, right?
Commander. Yep.
The commander. So where is he wanting to go so bad that he needs a car? Maybe he just wants to explore. Maybe he does want to go to New Pacifica. Maybe that's his goal, is to kill everybody and go there, and then he'll have this whole little city to himself, you know?
That's true. That's possible. I mean, there's no city set up yet. They have to build it first.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they've been there for, I don't know, overnight or maybe half a day now, but Danziger's ready to get moving. The Terrians haven't been in touch. There's nothing edible around, so they got to get going. But then we hear a noise, and Zero the robot, who in my opinion is the most underutilized character on this show, so far at least.
For sure. He wasn't even present in like the last 2 episodes.
No, you don't even. You might see him in the background once or twice.
Right. Yeah.
That's about it. He's a background character. It's crazy. But so there's a noise, and the robot Zero calls out,
Security alert.
And they all go outside, and there's a Terrian standing out there, and it's the one who's been dreaming, and he's not a prisoner of Gaal yet. So Devin approaches him, and the Terrian sets off this small explosion with his staff. Danziger goes for a gun. The Terrian sets off another explosion. Alonzo reaches out telepathically and tells him, hey, we're friends. And that seems to work. He chills out after that. Alonzo calls him buddy, and then they seem to be best friend because the Terrian puts down his glow stick. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah,
So
I wish I could make friends that easily.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah.
Just telepathically link with strangers.
Hey.
Say we're friends.
We're
It's
friends
okay.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the part here that gets me is, so this is the one Terrian that Gaal didn't capture. I would love to understand how what'd you call them? The necklaces, the neck braces that they wear, the
Shock collars.
shock
Yeah.
collars. Yeah. I would love to understand how that dampens their psychic abilities, right? Because this is the one Terrian, and we see the one Terrian, and I think even Gaal alludes to it, that there's one of you that was dreaming still. I guess I didn't get them all, like their Pokemon. I didn't catch them all.
I didn't collect them all.
Yep. Yeah. So just really interesting that he can shut down their abilities
to dream,
way.
basically. Yeah, somehow. We don't know. I mean, when a human's wearing it, it's basically like a dog collar that keeps you in an invisible fence. It shocks you when you go too far, or whenever you press a button, it's going to shock you. And I just don't see how that has any effect on their dreaming, unless he just shocks them so much that they can't go to sleep. I don't know. He doesn't really say. Well, he lets the humans do some experiments on him and study him. Julia's scans can't really tell if he is animal, vegetable, or mineral, which I find very interesting. That's actually one line that I do remember from when I saw this decades ago. I remember that whole thing, and I was like, "Oh, that is really cool. What is it?"
Yeah, I immediately thought of the song.
There's a song.
So it's called the Major General Song.
I am the very model of a modern Major General, live information, vegetable, animal, and mineral.
It goes on.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
from a musical. I should
yeah.
know that. Is it?
It's hold on, I got it here.
You
The
have it there.
the
You tell me.
Yep, the Pirates of
Penzance.
Penzance.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay. That's right.
yeah. But that's what I thought of when she said it. So you
That's
thought
funny.
it was like, oh, this is really cool. That's funny because we don't know if
Yes.
this Terrian
And
is
you're singing the
alive or
song
not
in your
alive.
head.
And I'm like having a pirate parody musical going.
That's
So
funny. That's funny. No, definitely did not hit that. The Terrian also says, or Alonzo says that the Terrian is a he, that they are all he's, which is interesting. I'm also not sure how that works, but we know so little about them biologically. We have no idea how they reproduce or grow. They might just spring up out of the ground like the dwarves in The Lord of the Rings. Just kidding. That's not how they grow, but I think that's a joke that I think Gimli
it
makes that joke
it is. Yeah.
in one of the movies. Spring forth out of the ground. So anyway, we don't know. But the Terrian keeps telling Alonzo that they aren't trying to hurt Yuli, and Alonzo speculates it's because of Devin's promise, having made a bond so that when the Terrians suffer, so does Yuli.
Yep.
Magic. Alien magic.
I don't know, Devin. I don't know what kind of promise we made, what kind of price we're gonna have to pay.
I don't either. I know I'd make it again.
During all of this, Gaal is there, about 10 feet away, I think, and he's watching this whole thing and talking to himself.
Yeah. How does he stay so close to the camp and nobody knows? Do they not scout their camp at all?
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I think there's 4 people, and they all want to sleep at the same time, and no one stands guard. Not even the
But
robot who doesn't need to sleep.
yeah, that kills me.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to keep an eye.
Right. So he talks to himself a little bit there. He actually talks to himself a lot in this episode. There are a
He does.
lot of Shakespearean like soliloquies in here. Danziger talks to True about how helping the Terrians could help Yuli, and she says that the Terrians are a fierce, cold breed, which are clearly not her words. It's a dead giveaway, and
Yeah.
Danziger immediately picks up right away that she had been talking to Gaul about this at some point. So you'd think he'd be on a little bit higher alert. But he's
Yeah,
not.
I think he couldn't tell if it was something that Gaul had maybe told her before he disappeared. So, but he's trying to do the dad thing and clean it up, and
Yep.
it's a really good conversation with her about, because she even uses some of his other lines about there's no right or wrong on this
No good or
this
bad.
earth,
Yeah.
no good or bad, yeah,
Yep.
on this earth, and
Yeah, and he's
so
like,
he knows,
he said, well, if that's true, then why are you so afraid of that Terrian?
yeah,
She's like, huh.
yeah. She's like, that makes sense. You're right.
Yeah. Well, the Terrian wants a couple people to follow him. Morgan is very argumentative about it. He doesn't trust the Terrians at all, and he thinks it's a trap. Julie has an episode of some sort, and the Terrian comes in and gives Devin a clump of dirt to put in his hair, and that immediately causes his fever to go down. And Julia scans the dirt. It's just dirt. It's just
Just
Earth
dirt.
2 dirt.
Yep.
John decides to go with the Terrian, and Alonzo recommends that Morgan goes with him, which neither Danziger nor Morgan wants, and I'm not even sure why he would even recommend Morgan go on any kind of mission at all in the first place. The guy is a sniveling coward, and he doesn't trust the Terrians, so why would you send him on a mission to help them? So
Yep.
Devin goes with John instead, which
Yeah,
makes a lot more sense.
Maybe Alonzo was hoping that if Morgan went, Morgan would die on the mission.
Maybe. He's like, I think you should take Morgan.
Yeah.
Please, this is a high-risk mission.
Please. He's a human shield. Just put him in
Yes,
front of you. It'll be
right.
great.
Your meat shield. Carry him.
Yep.
They follow him. They follow the Terrian, those two, and while they watch, the rest of the Terrians come out to meet that one, the one free one. And then their shot callers all engage, give them a charge, and they stop, and Gaal shows up, and then he puts his last collar on the last free Terrian. He might have more collars, I don't know, but he collars up the last free Terrian. At one point, he keeps talking to the Terrians like, I thought you were the last of your tribe. I can't tell if they're, like, he's talking about all the Terrians. Like, are there only like 7 or 8 Terrians on this planet? Or is this just like one small tribe of Terrians, literally a tribe?
Yeah.
Like, when Gaal talks, you can't tell, like, when he says the word tribe, does he mean like their entire race, or does he mean like a specific family or tribe, or what? It's hard to tell.
Yeah. I'd assume it's like one specific tribe. I mean, we know Gaal doesn't have a car, so he can't
Right. Not yet.
get around the planet. Yeah.
Right.
So I bet there's tribes of them. There's probably more spread out. I can't imagine the whole population of the entire planet is exactly where they landed.
But on the flip side, they've been driving now for like 30 days. How are they still near the exact same Terrians that helped heal Yuli? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, it goes back to Gaul is always there, and they're always near the base. Maybe they're just driving in circles. Maybe they are terrible navigators.
Maybe their compasses don't work on this planet. Maybe magnetic north is the entire planet, and they're just driving in circles.
Circles. Yeah. But it's one of those things you just have to choose to ignore
Yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah.
Well, like in Star Trek Voyager, was it the Kazon? Were they like the main villains for the first few seasons?
Mm-hmm.
And by like season 3 or 4, you're thinking they've been flying nonstop. How are they still in the space of these Kazon? Like, how are they still there? They kind of had to come up with, like, they had to eventually break them out of there, but like they were using them so much. It was like, come on, there've got to be other alien species around.
Yeah.
It was just, it was too much. When you have a show that is about a journey, it's hard to have the same recurring characters when your main characters are moving through. Like, how are you tying in other characters unless they're all moving on the same path? You know?
Right. Yeah. They could have at least had different groups of Terrians, right?
Yeah.
Differentiated by I was going to say clothing, but they're naked, right?
Right.
But find
Right.
ways for them
Well,
to
they wear
encounter different
bones,
groups. They do.
or that's an exoskeleton. Who knows?
I
Or it's just moss.
They wear bones, or it's just their skin.
Right.
I don't know. So many questions. Why is nobody asking them?
Right. Well, we are. That's what we're here for. We're here to ask the important questions.
That's right.
A woman that we've never seen before, but apparently is part of their group, goes through a list of all their weapons. She had speaking lines. Good for her. Danziger lays out the plan and who is going to go, and then he sees Yale assembling a weapon and says maybe he should come along too. But Yale falls back on his weapons aversion programming, which he has used before as a reason that he can't fight. He's going to keep using that for as long as he possibly
Yeah.
can. But I
That
don't
goes
believe him.
No, it goes all the way back to the pilot
Yeah.
when Commander O'Neill tries to hand him a gun.
Uh-huh. He looks scared of it. He's like,
Yeah, he's
no,
like, no, I
I
can't do it.
I can't.
Don't give it to me, sir.
So while they're talking about how they're going to go get Gaal, Gaal has his most epic Shakespearean soliloquy of the entire episode,
Yes.
complete with an there's the rub line, which is straight out of Hamlet. And I don't know, I really don't know if Gaal is supposed to be this highly educated criminal that was shipped out of the colonies, or maybe this was just one of Tim Curry's demands to be on this show. He was like, I have to do Shakespeare on this alien planet of yours, or I shan't be in your program.
Shan't be in your program.
And you can't see my notes, but I
He probably
spelled program with an M-E on the end, as the British do.
Good.
This was a pretty cool scene, though. I mean, like, he's sitting there. How would you describe it? What was he doing?
He's spit shining grenades, so he's got a ton of weapons that I really am questioning how he got a hold of the weapons. I guess he probably took them from the base that they found towards the beginning of the show when he robbed.
Probably the crate that had been broken into.
Yeah. He's got a pile of grenades that he's spit shining. He's just spitting on them, rubbing them with his robe, talking about, how he kind of got bored with murder, but now maybe he's ready to get back into the fray. So what's better than murder? It's like, how about just like slaughtering an entire group of people? He's like,
Right.
oh, that could be a good little gift to myself. And I was like, this is great because we finally are getting to see how really deluded and evil and messed up he is. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah, it's pretty epic. I like, for me, I really love the aspect of, like, he is basically doing Shakespeare. It's a scene from Shakespeare, but at the same time, he is also literally spitting on weapons and using a dirty rag, his dirty shirt, to polish these things. I really like the juxtaposition of the two different things. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I agree. Like, he's probably genius level intellect. He's probably a really smart guy who just has no concept of right and wrong.
Yeah, he's a complete sociopath.
Yeah.
And there is no right or wrong for him.
Yeah.
So when he's telling that to True, that's how he lives. That's his beliefs.
It's literal for him. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And he even, as what really got me here, is he spent all that time trying to get True under his wing. And he even talks about, well, why kill 16 when I could kill 17? And it'll just be fate if True finds a way to escape and joins me. He goes, but I guess I'm just going to have to kill her anyway.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, man. Like, you put all that effort. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah. It was probably my favorite scene in the entire episode, was just that, spit shining grenades, talking about how you're going to murder.
Yeah.
It was really
it was pretty cool. I don't know if I'd say it's one of my favorite scenes in this one, but it was pretty cool. It was good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff in this episode. Back at the camp, True overhears Danziger's plan, how he would use the transrover to sneak in like a tank if he knew he could surprise Gaal, but he just doesn't think that he can, and that becomes important later on. And then she interrupts, and she tells him that they just don't understand Gaal. And John's mad because she sneaked off to see him again. He's sure she did this time. He puts her into the cab of the trans rover then. And was there any one person watching this who didn't know that she was just going to immediately go right out the other side and go find Gaal? I mean, that
Yeah.
was my immediate thought. He put her in one side. I was just like, well, she's just going to open the door and hop out the other.
She's gonna leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why didn't he auto lock the doors like he did when they first met the Terrians in
Yeah, I forgot
episode
about
2 or
that.
3, right? He's
Yep.
like, lock on only open on my command or whatever. Instead, he was
Yeah.
just like, she's learned her lesson enough. She won't try to run if
She'll
I put
stay
in.
this time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Well, that is what she does, of course. She hops right out and she goes, and he's about to kill her because he's just waiting for the people to come. And then he recognizes her and he says,
Puppet.
I think it's the first puppet we might have heard it earlier this episode, but
it was after the whistle.
yes.
She whistles and he shows
He-
up and he
Yep,
says
he
it again.
puppeted her then. He does it again now. And they sit down, they have a talk, and she suggests that they just run away together, just the two of them. And he decides to pull up a bunch of weeds and eat those.
Does
and-
just chewing on grass like a cow.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's delicious,
It's quite
apparently.
it's quite delicious, he says.
Yep. Must be nutritious, too, I'm guessing. Then he shows her the Terrians that he has as prisoner and how the remote works for the shock collar. She gives the order to charge one of them, but she doesn't like it because it looks like they're in pain and they're homesick, and she wonders why they don't fight when he puts the collar on. He explains that they can't fight against one of their own, and he's wearing a necklace that he made out of Terrian bones. So he goes and he gives a bunch of them a charge, like the whole group, charge, charge, charge. But there's one that seems extra defiant, so he hits him with a whole bunch of charges, one right after another, to put him in his place.
Just torture at that
Yep.
point.
True stops him, but she has seen his true character by this point. And she offers to order up a remote vehicle for him to come. And she says no one will see it because it's parked far away from camp. So he agrees, but it's actually the main trans rover, and it's right there in the middle of the camp. And Danziger notices it when she calls. He realizes what's going on, that she's with him. And they all load up to go on this mission, including Gaal. Gaal reminds True of an ancient book called the Iliad. Another callback, between Ulysses and what was the horse's name? Pegasus, I think.
Yep, Pegasus.
And so it seems like they keep making these allusions to the Iliad and the Odyssey with character names and even calling out the book specifically here. We'll have to see still further if there's an actual
connection between them.
connection to it or if it's just they like the sound of it. So, but he reminds her of the Iliad, and he specifically calls out the Trojan horse, which he says is coming to them now as the trans rover. He had seen her compassion for the Terrians and knows that she betrayed him. So she gives out one of her patented shrieks, and he's getting ready to shoot the trans rover, and there is a shot, but it's not him. It comes from Danziger and Gaal, who are on a separate rock 4 or 5 feet away in the other direction. They're not in the truck at all. They unloaded and snuck up the back way.
Yeah.
Gaal fell down, and he dropped his gun when he fell, and he also dropped the remote for the shock collars. True dives for it, grabs it, and says, "Release, unlock," to let the Terrians go, before Gaal then grabs her and holds her in front of him as his meat shield. No one could get Morgan would be used as a shield, but he is now using the
True.
girl. Yep.
For sure.
He tells Danziger, "Don't shoot if you love her," as if he's going to try to shoot a grenade right through his own daughter. It makes very little sense. While this is going on, it's kind of a standoff. Gaal has his eye on his own gun, which is just a few feet away on the ground. Gaal keeps urging John to shoot Gaal, but he can't do it. And it looks like Danziger's the one with the weapons aversion now. Am I right?
He is. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Gale's like, "Shoot him."
Do
He's
it.
like, "I can't." So Gaal grabs the gun away from John and he fires it despite all his programming. And the shot knocks Gaal's gun off the cliff. I guess he either figured out a way around that programming, or maybe the programming has just been slipping. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't seem like a good thing. Either he broke it here or it was already broken.
Yeah. I felt like it was, he really cares about the kids. So his pure willpower let him avert that.
Yeah.
So
I can be on board with that. But either way, he still broke the programming.
He did break the programming.
Which I feel is just going to be bad. If that's where it breaks,
It's
then
the
it's
beginning
only going to
of-
get worse. Yeah.
Yep.
True, Gaal kind of dove for the gun, missed it. She turns around, she rips the Terrian necklace off of Gaal at the same time that we see Alonzo is releasing the Terrians from their collars. He's taking them off. They all sink down into the ground, and when they pop back up, they come up underneath Gaal like something out of a Sam Raimi movie, and arms come out of the ground and grab him and slowly pull him back down into the ground. Gaal makes one last appeal to his puppet for help before being dragged down under the ground. hopefully for the last time. The scene, like the camera even holds on the ground for a minute, and for some reason when I see this, I expected to see the grass like burp, like I don't know why. It
Like
just
just got done eating a tasty
like it
meal.
just got done devouring him, and I was like, "Burp." I don't know why, but that was just the image that hits me every time I watch this. The
That's
4 times
funny.
that I've watched it now.
The 4 times.
Alonzo finds the last Terrian on the ground. He's the one that Gaal shocked repeatedly, and he's not getting up or moving like all the other ones, and he dies. And Alonzo is very upset by this. He has grown very attached to these Terrians. They hold a very nice Terrian funeral for him. The Terrians all come up, and actually, I don't think the Terrians drag him under the ground. I think he just kind of melts down into
He
the
just
ground.
sinks.
He goes
Yeah,
down
he just kind of
himself, like
sinks in.
the earth like takes him back. Yuli is fully healed now. I assume it's for good this time. Alonzo makes some kind of statement like Yuli is healed for good now. I don't
Yeah.
know why it's different now than before. I don't fully understand. That's
Yeah, I feel
alien
like
magic, I guess.
I feel like the Terrians bartered with it. So when you go back to the pilot,
Mhm.
the Terrians tell Alonzo that we've seen you before. We don't really trust you. We're not really sure about humans. So I feel like for them, it was leverage, right, over this group. We're going to heal Yuli, but you've bargained with us now to give us something in return. So this is temporary while we kind of feel this whole situation out. And they needed their help to get away from Gaul. So now they sealed the deal. Right now, he's healed for good. You fulfilled your end of the bargain.
Mhm.
You paid the price that you agreed to pay. He's good. I'm hoping that that's it. He's actually healed for good now.
Yeah, I think I would believe that he probably is at this point. They
Yeah.
kind of seem like they don't. I don't think they want to keep waffling back and forth between the two.
Right. Yeah.
Keep
Yep.
using that as a plot device. Maybe they do want to keep using it. We'll see, but I don't think. After this, Danziger and True have a very touching moment to close out the episode. They kind of make up and are on good terms with each other again, and
Yeah.
that's the end.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one?
I really liked it. Way better than the last episode, which was super Gaul heavy. And
Yeah.
we talked about that.
Oh yeah, ad nauseum, way too much.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
discussed it too much.
Yeah.
It
We'll
happened too
probably,
much. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. But I think the nice thing here is we get to see a little more of the Terrians and we learn a bit about them and I would say their culture. Is that what you would call it? That they won't hurt each other, so they obviously don't fight or war with one
Yeah.
another, which I think is really amazing that they've evolved that way. Gaul had some really cool moments where he just got to show us how crazy he actually is. It's not just trying to get a car. He's willing to murder literally everybody.
Yeah.
And just for no reason other than why not? I want their stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I need their car. I want their car.
I want their car. Yeah. So I really liked it. It was
Yeah.
a great episode.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is probably the best episode since the pilot. Gaul
100%.
really, in this one, he's really playing the correct role. You know, we talked about the last one
Yeah.
being Gaul heavy. It was way too heavy. In this one, he is still the villain, but he's not taking up all the screen time like he did in the last
Right.
episode. Like the last episode was about Gaul. This one, he is a side character where he needs to be. He really did chew up a whole lot of scenery in this one with many of those speeches that he had all to himself. I think it was probably a little much on
Sure.
the Shakespeare, but like we said, scene with the spit shining of the grenades and the whole Shakespeare bit
Yeah.
was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, but
Yeah.
combined, it was a whole lot of just him talking to himself. It was a lot, but I was very happy in the last episode when the Utopians realized him for what he was and they kicked him out of the camp. This time, I'm even happier to see the whole thing come to a conclusion. We know the end of him. His character is done. He's gone. And it was a very satisfying end to dealing with that villain. So this was a nice little arc. Overall, I think I did not care for the middle of the arc, but that happens sometimes, you know. But overall, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you think the Terrians killed him? Do you think they're capable of that? They don't seem like they would do that. What do you think they're doing with them
I
underground?
agree with you on that aspect. I don't think they would do that. I don't know what they did. And I've always felt that they may have like just pulled him to their underground lair and put a shock collar on him and kind of kept him there.
Yeah.
Like I know from looking at various sources on the internet that Tim Curry is only in 4 episodes of this show. So there were 3 episodes in this arc and he was in the pilot for half a minute.
Right.
So that's it. He doesn't come back to this show, but I feel like he could.
It
the
left
possibility is there.
Right. And had we had a season 2, he could have made a reappearance. They might have had plans to bring him back.
Could he have escaped from the Terrians?
Yeah. And I'm sure he could have. He's very cunning. He said that.
It is super cunning, right? You got to take his word for it.
Yep.
Yeah. But I agree with you on that aspect. Like I don't think they would have killed him.
I don't think they would either.
Not outright, but they may have done something to
Yeah.
imprison him or punish him in some way that he wasn't getting out.
Yeah. And the Grendlers like him because he feeds them the little leaf blood tacos.
Right. Yeah. Their favorite
So,
treat.
yep. So he's got allies.
He does. I know.
Mm.
I'm very interested. I really like this episode because it is much heavier on the Terrians. We learned a lot more about them in this one. We still don't know anything about them practically, but we learned a lot more about them. You know, neither vegetable, mineral, or plant, whatever they are.
Yeah.
We learn more about them. At the end, Alonzo says something like, Julia says that we have more in common with a mosquito than we do the Terrians, which I thought was kind of a cool way of putting it too. But we did learn more about them. Honestly, I was looking forward to the Grendlers episode coming up pretty soon because I want to learn more about the Grendlers too.
Yeah.
But now that one Natural Born Grendlers won't appear till all the way at the
Way
end of the
later.
series, we're going to
Yeah.
have to wait a couple months before we get to that guy. But yeah, I'm very interested in the alien species of this planet. That's really one reason that I didn't care for Gaal overall as a villain so early on this show. I didn't want to see another human. They're on this alien
Right.
planet. Let's explore the alien planet and all the possibilities that are here, not some reject from a penal colony.
Yeah. 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 I mean, they push it in. Maybe that's a reason why they put some of this stuff in a different order too. Maybe they're like, let's just wrap up this Gaul stuff, get it
Yeah.
out of the way.
I agree with
But-
keeping the whole Gaal storyline together
Yeah.
and putting it, just
Yeah.
airing all the three of those together. I get that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a good decision.
Yeah. Just close it out. But
There was one moment in there that kind of, it's not funny, but it cracks me up anyway. But when Gaal is showing True the Terrians that he has prisoner, and he hands her the remote and he says, "Here, have some fun with it. Tell it."
Charge.
He has this British accent. He says, "Charge." So she holds it and she says,
Charge.
just like him.
I didn't even pick that up. I don't know what I thought. I thought it was just a bad line that they didn't worry about delivering again. But yeah, you're right. That's what she did. She
Charge. And I was
said
like,
it just like him.
I wondered, did the director direct her to say it like that, or was the screen actually written like CHOJ, charge, like so that she would say it Britishly? It was funny though, charge, because she's not British.
Maybe she ad-libbed it.
Maybe she
You
may
know,
have, and they were
Could have
like,
just been something funny and
let's keep
kept it in.
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
laughed. They're like, she literally said what he said. Let's keep it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. It was funny.
Yeah.
Hey, so do you have any other thoughts about this episode? Any musings?
No, I think I hope we're at the beginning of seeing a cool arc with Yale where his programming falls apart and we get to learn a little bit more about his past. Like that's the one thing that I remembered before we started watching this was that
Right.
Yale I think has a cool arc at some point, and I want to get into that. And I'm really glad that we got to see True coming around to finally listening to her dad. Right? I
Yeah.
know it's hard on a kid to be thrown in these situations. I'm sure.
Mhm.
I've never been through it. Have you? Have you ever
No.
landed on an alien planet? Right.
No,
So
not yet.
yeah, but Danziger is finally getting through to her, and she understands that they're just trying to keep her safe. So they did a lot in this episode. They closed up a
So
lot
much.
of loose ends. They kicked off some other mysteries. So it was really well done.
Yeah.
I liked it.
There's a few characters. Yale is one of them that I'm very interested in their backstories. You know,
Right.
I'm interested in Yale and what is going on with him. I'm interested in Bess Martin, who she's a very minor character, but I'm curious, like, it seems like she lived on Earth, and I'm curious how
Yeah.
that worked, and I want to know the backstory of that. But many of the characters, like, I'm really just invested. Like Danziger, I don't care about his past. He's a cool character right here on the planet. He's kind of taking leadership of this team, and I like seeing what's going on with him in the present. Julia, I'm a little curious about Julia. There's some stuff going on there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure completely what her story is. I'm a little curious about that too.
I forget about her a lot, honestly. Even
Me
though
too.
she's prominent, she's in every episode, but I think that's the way it goes with the Doctor and a lot of these types of shows.
Yeah,
They tend to kind of disappear into the background.
I agree. They do. Okay. Well, any other thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm excited to get to the next episode. Which if we're sticking to air order, I think you have in your notes that it's called a memory play.
Yep. It aired in December 4th, 1994, with narration by Devon Adair. The colonists find other crew members who are dead or gravely ill. And as Dr. Heller searches for the cause and cure of the illness, Adair considers whether the ship was sabotaged.
Ooh, and that comes. Did they mention that in the last episode in Promises, Promises?
I
Or
don't think
am I
so.
remembering? Am I remembering the? I might be remembering that I read the preview for the next one.
Could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was one of the questions that we had way back in the pilot. If you remember, we talked about like, did all the crew escape? And like, is this the
Yeah.
entire crew? We weren't really sure what happened. They never even addressed if the crew was all
You know,
found or what.
You're
you know?
right. There were so many more people on that ship.
Yeah.
And I completely even forgot over the last few episodes that there's probably other escape pods and people who are trying to survive out there.
Yeah. So
I
it
didn't even
must have
think about it.
been, they never really discussed it, but it must have just been like they're one escape pod worth of people, and they're all traveling together, and that's all that they've got. And then, of course, Morgan and Bess, who had an escape
found
pod
them.
all to themselves, like a little luxury hotel suite all to themselves, and then they teamed up with the other pod of people. So there are still
Yeah.
probably another pod or two out there of other
Yeah.
folks that maybe we'll get to see them all team up with.
Yeah. Man, I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm very excited to
Yeah.
get to the next one.
Yeah.
Be cool. This has been a good show so far. So, all
Yep.
right. Well, if we got nothing else, I have been one of your hosts. I'm Rob.
And I've been the other host, Aaron.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
So, we've got this show here, and we're talking, we've made ourselves the judges of
Yeah.
if
We're qualified.
these shows that we talk about, right? We've decided we're the judges of this. Just to kind of like discuss our own qualifications a little bit here. I'm curious, what's one of your favorite TV shows? Like, what do you consider a good TV show? And I'm sure there are many. Like I've
There's so many.
There are many. I have many thoughts, but like just one.
Should it be era specific? I have a lot of favorite TV shows. I have a lot of favorite shows.
Anything. Literally one favorite show.
Yeah. So my default standard answer would be TNG, Star Trek TNG. It's background in the house all the time. The kids make fun of me when they see it on. They're like, "Oh gosh, what are you going to do? You're like millionth watch through of the show." It's one that I could just always go back to. It's a comfort place for me, and I really do think it's great. Even the first 2 seasons, I've watched them enough that I'm like, oh, they have a certain charm about them that I really enjoy. But if you don't want something different that isn't just Star Trek or TNG.
Yeah, I should have told you not to say TNG because I knew that's what you were going to say.
I know.
But I don't mind if you say TNG. It's your answer. Whatever you think is a good answer.
Yeah, no, here. I'll tell you, one of the best shows that we've watched recently, Severance.
Okay.
Yeah, really good. A little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of drama. It's not your lasers and robots kind of sci-fi, but very cerebral. It's so good. And I hate that they made us wait like so many years. There was like 4 or 5 years in between seasons.
Yeah.
So it was forever, but really good. Really, really good show.
I haven't watched that yet. Well, we watched the first
Yeah.
episode. We had Apple TV for just a few months, and that wasn't one of the shows that caught our attention at the time. So we watched the pilot and really just couldn't get into it at that point, but didn't really take the time to try either.
If you go back to it and stick with it,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'll try it again. We'll probably get the service again sometime, and I'll try it.
Yeah. How about you? What are your qualifications?
There's just too many. I can't narrow it down. Just kidding. I would. So I'm
No,
not gonna,
you got to.
I'm
You
not-
made me pick one. You got to pick one. Come on. Or I'm going to pick one for you if you don't.
No, I will pick one then, because you would probably pick Star Trek the original series, and
Which
that
is probably nobody's favorite.
far from. There are some people that are such Star
I
Trek
know.
purists that they love
I know.
TOS, even though
It's what started it all.
Yeah, exactly. It's the OG, the
Yep.
OG Star Trek. I get that. It's a rough watch, though. Definitely not one of my
It's
favorite
hard.
shows.
It's hard.
Honestly, I don't even know if TNG is one of my favorite shows, Star Trek shows, because I love Deep Space Nine so much.
Yeah. Deep Space Nine is
know?
fantastic.
But I also get where you're coming from. The Next Generation was like it was like the rebirth of Star Trek. It's the Star Trek
Yeah.
we grew up with.
It was our Star Trek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was our Star Trek. So I get it. You
Yeah.
said it was comfort, and I get where you're coming from with
It's
that. It's like a
nostalgia
comfort
that
show.
gets me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm with you there. But that's not my answer. I'm not taking DS9 as one of my favorite shows either. Honestly, one of my favorite shows, it's been a number of years since we finished it, but I loved Boardwalk Empire.
I didn't watch that one.
Man, so good. So good. It's just like it's a crime show set back in the era of Prohibition. And I love a good like period piece set in a certain era with that isn't just there for the era. Like sometimes there are some shows I feel that are just there to show you this is what life was like in the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing a finger at Mad Men at all.
That's
but
exactly what I thought you were doing.
no, I like Mad
Which,
Men too. Mad Men's a good show.
yeah, I did. I liked it. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
But there are some shows that I like. It's just like, let's just show what life is like. This is like showing us life in the 20s and 30s, but also with an entirely violent crime story happening at the same time with all these gangsters. And it was just magnificently done. It is an incredible show. It is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. And really, as I get older, I find myself drifting further away from the sci-fi and the fantasy and those types of shows. I still definitely enjoy them and watch them when I can, but I almost exclusively read crime and mystery and detective fiction at this point in my life, and those are also the shows that I tend to default to. Like I love a good crime show, not true crime. Don't give me true crime. I don't care about that at all. I don't want that.
Right.
I'm not interested in that. I know it's a huge thing out there. People love it. It's not my thing. I love like a fiction crime story.
Yeah.
They are some of my if we have this discussion again in future episodes, most of my shows that I list will probably be like crime shows.
Like true. Yeah.
Not true crime. Don't
true
say
crimes.
that.
Well, I was saying true, not
Okay.
true crime. Yes, true. Like that. I understand.
Truth.
Yeah, and and I think it's hard. And if you ask me this question next week, my favorite show might change. And I find, because I'm similar to you, while I love the shoot 'em up sci-fi, Star Trek, that my taste in sci-fi changes. That's what Severance captured me so much, is it's science fiction, but it's not, it's very cerebral now. It's not, there's no laser guns, there's none of that stuff. They're messing with your brain, right? They're creating a second personality that they're putting to work. And it relates, I feel like, maybe to real life for me, right? That's how we feel. We have two lives. We go to work and then we come home and we're completely different people. We're just aware of it. We're in Severance, you're not. And that kind of story really, really gets me. And like even the last book that I read that I was really hooked into was Dark Matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't read a book in 2 or 3 days in ages, right? And it's sci-fi, but it's not really about lasers. It's about hopping to multiverses and thinking that you're going to find a better version of you in each one, only to realize that you were the best version of you that you could find. And how do you get back now? It's just, I don't know, I just love it. And that's a series that I haven't watched yet, but I really want to.
I like that book as well. I read it after you told me about it. And I honestly don't know that I want to watch the series. I enjoyed the book, and I don't feel like the series would do it justice.
It's not going to, but I want to see how somebody interprets it.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
I've done that too, for sure.
Give me something to complain about anyway.
Yeah. The best science fiction is an allegory for something in our lives, and the good ones like Severance or Dark Matter, like that's what it is showing us. It's illustrating something to us through the use of sci-fi, and that's when you know it's something good. I like my Battlestar Galactica. I love my Battlestar Galactica. That might be a future answer for one of my favorite shows. There's not a lot of allegory in that show, right? There's not a lot of allegory in that show. It's a straight up action shoot 'em up and adventure, there's many religious and political overtones in the show. Like they're not overtones, they're like literal tones.
It's literal
Parts of the show, but I don't feel much of it has allegory for us today.
Yeah. And you can always go the route with Battlestar that we're beginning to see that. I mean, spoilers, we got to be real careful talking about Battlestar, number one.
Right.
Because if you haven't watched it, we don't want to spoil
the
end of the show. But, we could be at the beginning of those times for Battlestar with the advent of AI.
Yeah.
And, you never know where this stuff's going to go.
Yep.
So, and that's kind of entertaining. It makes, like, if I were to rewatch Battlestar now, my point of view would be different. The story would be a little bit different based on the world we live in now.
I mean, 20 years ago, it came out 21 years ago is when it started.
Yeah.
Just crazy to think of. But that's when it came out, and there was no AI. Zero AI. Robots were like mechanical arms that you program to pick something up and move it, and that was a robot. Like you
Yeah,
could use on like an assembly line. Like those were the
right.
types of robots that existed. I mean, it seems like almost every week I read about some new kind of robot being developed and built, and it's a little scary.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.